Hello, I'm Liana. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm a mum to almost 10. I do a lot of cooking. Today I'm doing something a bit different. If you've been around for a long time, welcome to this particular video, and it is a bit different today. It's a requested video on what I stock in my family's first aid kit, and the question was, what do I believe is essential to have in one's family first aid kit? Now, because I have a large family, I've probably got a little bit more stock than someone with a smaller family may have. However, I certainly don't think I've gone overboard, and I find that I purchase more stock probably twice a year. I do purchase stock online because I find it a lot cheaper to go to a main first aid supplier and buy in bulk that way. So first of all, I had put up a photo of my new first aid trolley on Instagram. It's from IKEA, and I'm sure a lot of you will recognize that I already had one, and we've been using it for years for different uses, and it's been fantastic. And I thought, I think that'd make a great first aid trolley, because I did have sort of two big plastic boxes and they were quite cumbersome and hard to find things, when you need them quickly in a first aid situation. So at the moment I've got this trolley that I'm using. Okay, so this is the IKEA trolley that I'm using, and on top I've got the main everyday things. In the middle I've got extra things and also things that I use less often, and on the bottom I've got more emergency first response, more in-depth stuff that most people wouldn't necessarily use. I mean, there's all the normal stuff you'd find up here, but then I've got extra stuff as well. Now, I am medically trained, I'm a midwife, so there are some things that I would have that other people would find useless. I mean, if you don't know how to take someone's blood pressure, there's no point in having a blood pressure cuff, for instance. So I wouldn't expect that most people would have the stuff I've got down there, and certainly it's not stuff that you would use often, if at all. So I'm going to focus on what I've got up here. So how I've got this set out is so that I can see everything. It may look messy, but I can see where everything is. In a first aid kit, the first thing that I would really highly recommend are things to stop bleeding, to slow down bleeding, and I've got that sort of thing here. So just combine dressings are a really good cheap thing to have for that purpose. You can get some really expensive things, but unless you're sort of hiking or in a situation where it's unusual, I don't think you need to spend a whole lot of money. You just want things that you can help you compress that wound. And in most situations, a bit of gauze is perfect for stopping bleeding. So I do keep a lot of gauze. It's cheap, and then the combine dressings I would use a lot less often. I don't know how often I've ever used a combine dressing, probably only once in a house, but they're good to have just in case. There are cotton balls. They come in really handy because you're more likely to need just something really small like that. And then I also have this. Is a finger dressing, and it can help stop bleeding and also keep a finger wound nice and closed while you get further medical assistance. I have had to use one of these. My husband sliced his finger open instead of coffee one day last year and ended up with stitches, but this really came in handy for that. I think I used a steri strip as well on it to help keep the wound closed, and then he trotted off to the doctors and dealt with that. And then, of course, Band-Aids. I need to get some more Band-Aids, but an array of Band-Aids, that's the real obvious thing. But something people might not think of, these are blister Band-Aids. So these are in particular fantastic to keep in the car. I can do a car first aid kit video another time. Today I'm focusing on an in-home first aid kit. Also, I would recommend some nice big Band-Aids. These can be perfect for knees, and because I'll cover a wider area. But I keep Band-Aids right there so kids can grab them, and I'll tell you what, there's probably at least one child every day who tends to need a Band-Aid. Well, they think they do it anyway. And then I've got things for cleaning wounds. So So something that I find really fantastic to have in a first aid kit, and I highly recommend you get them, they're under $2 each, is a basic dressing pack. It provides a sterile field, so if you have, say, burns or something a little bit more nasty that really needs to be kept clean and dressed every day, these are perfect because it allows you, it comes with a dressing tray, dressing towel, forceps, and then swabs more just of your, it comes with gauze swabs in there. So it's got everything for under $2. These are fantastic. Actually, I think they're just over $1 each. And so I recommend having a few of these in case you come across a situation where you are having to change a wound daily. They're so inexpensive, but also they're really good for just dressing a wound for the first time if it's a bit more of a nasty wound. So the only thing you have to add to this, you may want some more gauze swabs, depending, and then also you need a saline solution or some sort of irrigation solution. This is a chlorhexidine to put in the little tray that comes in there. Also for cleaning wounds, one of my everyday go-tos for scrapes and scratches, that sort of thing, are these lovely little iodine wipes. Just so handy because iodine can be quite messy. And this way you're just using a little pouch. It's also a lot more comfortable on a wound than alcohol is, which can be quite stingy. I do keep alcohol wipes as well, but usually I use them to clean around a wound or even my hands or an instrument, something like that. I don't tend to put them directly on a wound because that's a bit traumatic for children in particular. And then for dressing wounds, I also, that's an eye patch, so that's something handy to have that you rarely have to use, but it's good to have one. For dressing wounds, I really prefer non-stick gauze and then something like a transparent film to put over it. I have some larger size non-stick pads as well, and also some larger transparent film, so that's more like adult size. An adult has a larger wound. So my absolute favourite dressing, in particular for everyday kids' wounds, are the small non-stick dressings, which I've already shown, but I get them in bulk in a nice big pack of 50, and as you can see I go through them quite a bit. In here I've also got my favourite tape, which is Me-Fix, and it's fantastic because it comes in a roll and you can use as much as you need to go over a particular sized wound pad. And I also keep a pair of scissors in there as well. I've got 2 things of Me-Fix in there. Don't want to run out of the stuff. But that's fantastic because I find children, first of all, it does cover a slightly wider area than even a large Band-Aid would. And the Me-Fix is a lot more gentle on skin than most Band-Aids. Also, children find it, with say a nasty elbow or knee graze, children find it, my children anyway, find it a lot more sort of comforting to have on there because it seems a lot more secure. And it is holiday time, guys, so you're going to hear people in the background. Excuse that. Also wound dressing. This one's it's a Mesorb. It's got a little bit more absorption to it. And then this is more of a non-stick dressing plus Me-Fix tape in one. So this is a little bit more expensive than getting them individually, but these would be really, really handy to have, in particular in a car first aid kit where you don't want to fuss around with stuff. And then, of course, tapes. I have had a child come and take all the tapes and play with them, so I've only got 2 in here on this tray at the moment. Usually I've got about 5 of them. Different tapes of different sizes and also different types because certain tapes stick to some fabrics better than others. And then also for wound dressing, you may want an antiseptic cream or such. So Savlon is just a basic antiseptic cream. I also have some antiseptic spray. This is good for minor cuts, insect bites, stings and itches, that sort of thing. But I also have some Stingos, which is definitely more, if you've got an insect bite, you'd go straight for the Stingos. I also have a mild cortisone cream. I get a little bit of eczema, and so do a couple of my children, so this is great when that sort of thing flares up. Oh, I've also got some teething gel in there. So yeah, I just have basic things as far as that goes. And then to finish off wound dressing, I did forget to show this. This is another sort of bleeding compression thing. It's just a sterile wound dressing, so it comes with a bandage attached to your wound compression. So that might be something handy to have. Also, as far as dressing wounds, sometimes you might need something like a little butterfly clip, which is a special type of band-aid, or a steri-strip. These are both to aid in holding a wound together, like a cut, basically. And I keep them over there rather than with the band-aids because they're more a specialty item, more expensive, and I don't want the children to go opening them accidentally. And then an array of bandages. So you've got your regular crepe bandages, you've got bandages of various different sizes and fabrics. So I suggested having a few different types. This one's nice and little, good for children or for hands. This is okay. This is a cohesive bandage, so it sticks on itself, and it's fantastic to put over a regular bandage for extra support and that sort of thing. And then other odds and ends that I just really suggest having in your first aid kit include these. These are fantastic. They're splinter probes. So they've got a little, I don't know if you can see that, like a little sharp thing on the end. I don't think I've ever used them for a splinter, maybe once, twice, but they can really come in handy for other bits, other things where you need something sharp. A bag for rubbish. Syringes, in particular a 10ml syringe. This is a good size because if you can't find a syringe to administer some medication, it's just good to have a spare one around. You can also put saline in it to squirt into someone's eye for eye irrigation and various things. So a syringe can be really handy. The 3ml ones too can be really handy, in particular for administering medication to small children. And I don't have like medication in here pretty much, but I just like to keep an extra syringe in here. Vomit bags, very handy to have. Hopefully you don't need to use them very often, but they certainly make life a lot easier when you do. Scissors, you know, I had a pair of scissors in here, and I've also got a pair of scissors just randomly here, and I've got more scissors in another compartment. You can't have too many scissors on a first aid tray because when you need them, you just want to be able to see them and grab them. And then on the middle area, I do have a couple of things that I would recommend, even though they're in the I wouldn't use them as often area. So an instant cold pack, I have a couple of these of different types. Excellent for sprains and you know, maybe a bit of heat stroke or something like that, just good to have. And then also a bandage in case someone were to hurt their shoulder or their arm, something like that, just handy to have. And there are some pins in there. A burn gel and some burn sheets, those sorts of things can be really good. I really like the little sachets of burn gel, which I'm all out of at the moment. I do need to restock this trolley a little bit. Is fantastic, not just for sort of like minor kitchen burns, but also for a bit of maybe sunburn on the nose or something. It can be really, really soothing and fantastic to have in a car first aid kit as well, of course. And some gloves. Gloves are really handy. They don't have to be sterile, just to protect you. So regular kitchen gloves can be really handy. I also have a pack of sterile gloves in case I'm dealing, say, with someone's eye or something like that. I have used sterile gloves just to keep things extra clean. Some sterile cotton tips can come in really handy. I've used this for eye care and that sort of thing. You can dip them in a bit of saline to make things really comfortable, and yeah, they're just handy to have. So that's everything I would fully recommend having. So that's what I keep in my family's first aid kit. That's a family of almost 12 though, and most of it we don't use very often at all, but I just feel it's really good to have when you do need it. So if you purchase online, and in particular in bulk, you can save. If you'd like to comment on this video, you can go to my page, click on the community tab, and under that you will see a thumbnail to this video and you can comment there. At the moment, YouTube still have family channels comments disabled, so at the moment it takes a few extra seconds of clicking around in order to comment my video, so I do apologize for the inconvenience, but it's not my choice. Thank you so much for watching, and you take care. Bye bye.